What's your favorite book you've read and why? East of Eden. I learned a lot about people and why they are motivated to do the crazy things they do. I also learned that there are people who are just straight up rotten. Can't be fixed. I think it's chapter 3 where he describes Kate as a monster, comparing that some people are missing an arm or a leg. Kate is missing something in her mind, which makes her evil. The Phantom Tollbooth. It was fun to read as a kid, and then I picked it up again as I got older, and noticed so many little details that kept it fun and interesting. I still cackle like a madman every time I get to Dr. Discord in the awful Dine. The Red Wall series by Brian Jacks. I love the adventure and questing and figuring out riddles. The way he described the feasts. God, I always wished I could experience a feast like that. The way he would write the different dialects for the different animals was so much fun. They are young adult books, but I'm nearing 4 decades and still love them. Been reading them since I was just a wee lad. Eulalia. For Ed Wall. Edit. Wow. I just woke up to see that this has blown up, and I'm just overwhelmed. Thank you all for the love and awards. So many replies. I was trying to respond to some, but I'm just too overwhelmed, a blubbering, weeping mess. Tears of love and joy, I assure you. Just know that I'm at least reading every last reply, and weeping with joy at how much love there is for Mr. Jacks and his works. Contact by Carl Sagan, about a radio astronomer named Deli Arroway who discovers extraterrestrial life. There was a movie too which is also good, but different enough that I think the book is worth reading. I feel like I still read a lot, but I don't have obsessive favorite books like I did when I was younger that I read and reread a million times and underline favorite passages. But Contact came across at just the right stage of formative years for me and showed me the kind of astronomer I wanted to be, and I'm now a radio astronomer who specializes in transient radio signals that turn on and off over time. No aliens yet though. Close bracket. And, as usual, the book is so much better than the movie. And I like the movie. Anything Carl Sagan is worth a read. The Demon Haunted World, Science as a Candle in the Dark is also one of my favorites. Hyperion by Dan Simmons. Fabulous sci-fi imagination, filled with characters, worlds, technology, politics, and innocence which invoke the most vivid movie reel of a story in my mind each time I read it, and the others in the trilogy. Update. Quati Z. Blew up more than I expected. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. The Count of Monte Cristo. A fantastic tale of revenge, and if it's worth it. I completely agree. This book is always a top recommend. The story of ultimate revenge is beautiful and sad. It will leave you just as broken as the characters in the book, and I love it for it. What is revenge, if not the equal act? A chance to smooth again a crooked line. A deal you make with you yourself, a pact, and what's the right for such a wrong as mine? A secret knife begets another knife, a shrouded sin begins another sin, a stalled or stolen life deserves a life, defeated, cheated kin and actor kin. And though you call revenge the poisoned cup, the dark for which you open up the door, I'd lift the chalice near my lips to sup, and drown the world for all it did before. I dug 2 graves too vast and great to flee, and one's for you, the other one's for me. The Hobbit. I remember my dad reading it to me when I was really little, before they got divorced, so when I read it on my own I remembered some parts from then. Plus, it's a great story that I loved. I read it in middle school. I then reread it as an adult in anticipation of the movies, and I was riveted at points and couldn't put it down. I couldn't remember what happened and was completely on the edge of my seat. Then the movies came out and they were bad. The Picture of Dorian Gray. I just love Oscar Wilde's writing style and the book has such a deep meaning. It is one of these books you can get lost in. And I had fever when I read it, so that probably added to the getting lost in it effect. Seriously, read this 4 to 5 times. Such a great tale of descent into darkness and finding one's true meaning. The act of corrupting a beautiful thing is phenomenally satisfying through these pages. I love Michael Crichton's works and was devastated when he died. Congo was amazing. just edge of your seat all throughout, and the Andromeda Strain is also really good. Now you have me wanting to reread his books. Hatchet by Gary Paulson. I love the story of survival and perseverance. I have read this book many times in my life, and have referenced it throughout my lifetime. I'm now a social worker, and I work in a psychiatric hospital, and when I do my groups I will ask an icebreaker, and have the patients tell me their favorite book. After that I'll give them this book, tell them what it's about, and use it as an example, to continue on in life, to push through adversity, and never quit. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. I first read it when I was 16 for a sci-fi class elective, and it blew my mind. It is such an interesting read and it really challenges your perception of society and humanity. That is the one dystopia book that really made me think about our concept of utopia. 1984, Handmaid's Tale, and the recent trend started with Hunger Games are all obliviously terrible societies held together by brainwashing and oppressive governments, where the people are unhappy and being controlled by a nefarious government. But in Brave New World the government is honestly acting in the way that it thinks is best for its citizens, and the citizens genuinely feel happy with their situation. It made me think about the value of happiness, and how human nature may be prone to exchange freedom for comfort. Animal Farm. It was a satire. I knew what it was mocking. It was actually a good story. We read this in high school. The student teacher didn't know it was an allegory for the Russian Revolution, and taught the book like it was just standard fiction. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Just a nice satirical book that takes the piss at every turn and looks into the mind and motivations. Where else can we learn the secret to flying is to throw yourself at the ground and miss. Ender's Game. I was 16 and a typical jock, not a reader at all. My chemistry teacher told me to read it. Blew my mind. Yeah, Rhino Card is an extremely questionable human being. My 16 years old self isn't changed by what the guy is now. The sequel, Speaker for the Dead, is amazing as well. Haven't read the third one yet, maybe I'll wait another 10 years to pick that up. I actually prefer Speaker for the Dead. I think Card does as well. The main reason he released Ender's Game, it was originally a novella, was a deal he made with the publisher to get SFTD published. Anyway, the following novels Xenocide and Children of the Mind get a little weird, especially COTM. But I'll die on the hill that Speaker for the Dead is his best work. It's crazy to hear Card's personal beliefs, because a lot of his writings, especially in Speaker, is people coming to terms with their feelings, and how that drives us as individuals. Just doesn't line up with the crazy Mormon beliefs he holds in real life. Very odd. You have reached the end. Banana Doggo wants to know what is your favorite book.